Here's your Forbes Daily Briefing for Thursday, March 7th. Today on Forbes, Elon Musk failed to quash this Chinese billionaire's Tesla rival. Now it's going global. Chinese automaker Xpeng isn't a giant in the country's fiercely competitive EV market, yet it has sky-high ambition, literally. At January's seminal CES tech trade show in Las Vegas, a company subsidiary displayed a model of a planned flying car and said it would begin deliveries in China toward the end of 2025. Now, there's hefty skepticism about that timeframe, especially as China doesn't have a clear regulatory framework that would allow flying cars. But while consumers might never be able to pilot such a vehicle, the Las Vegas promotion could help strengthen Xpeng's image as a high-end brand using sophisticated technology. Its co-founder, Xiaopeng, has made Xpeng one of China's pioneering EV producers. Xiaopeng, the company's chairman and CEO, wasn't at CES and isn't talking to the media about flying cars at the moment. The billionaire has plenty on his plate, including dealing with the increasingly cutthroat EV competition at home and pushing multiple goals of the Hong Kong and New York listed company: to expand internationally, to be a high-end EV producer abroad, to end a string of losses, and to become one of China's 3 largest EV makers by 2030. By deliveries, Xpeng wasn't in the top 10 in 2023. Last year, the mogul survived a crisis stemming from a brutal price war started by Tesla, which made its vehicles 40% cheaper in China than in the US. To boost battered sales, He introduced the G6 SUV to compete with Tesla's Model Y and brought in Volkswagen as an investor. In July, the German carmaker agreed to put in $700 million and own 4.99% of Xpeng. Full-year Xpeng financials aren't out yet, but in the third quarter of 2023, revenue was up 25% year-over-year to 8.5 billion yuan, which is about $1.2 billion, though losses widened to 3.9 billion yuan. He, the 47-year-old boss of the Guangzhou-based EV maker, said in an exclusive interview in December in Beijing, quote, "Challenges also present opportunities. If it weren't for the challenges, I wouldn't be so determined to make the changes." This year will be another one of intense competition, especially after Tesla in January slashed prices across multiple markets, including China. Wang Hanyang, a Shanghai-based analyst at 86 Research, says, quote, "The competition this year will be very, very aggressive." Wang added that while the company made solid advances in late 2023, quote, "Xpeng isn't entirely out of its tough spot." He is a computer science graduate of South China University of Technology in Guangzhou. He is also no stranger to boom and bust cycles. The Hubei native's first venture wasn't in the auto sector. In 2004, after working for Hong Kong-listed software developer Asia Info, he started a mobile browser operator called UC Web. In 2014, he sold the company in a $4.3 billion deal to Alibaba. The e-commerce giant later became an investor in Xpeng, the auto company that He, sensing opportunities in the then nascent EV sector, co-founded in 2014. But when the company in 2018 readied its first model, the G3 SUV, for mass production, consumer demand fell as the Chinese government cut back on EV purchase subsidies. Xpeng managed to secure $400 million in funding from investors, including private equity firms and He himself, to survive. It went public in New York in 2020, raising $1.5 billion. Shares once surged to value the firm at $57 billion, almost more than Ford and General Motors combined at the time. As its second model, the P7 sedan, became an instant success and fueled optimism the Chinese EV maker might emerge as a serious contender to Tesla. But the stock later spiraled down as competitors launched new models and the COVID-19 lockdown hit the firm's supply chain. On the first day of 2024, He launched a 7-seater MPV, or multi-purpose vehicle, called the X9, that targets the luxury market, with a starting price of 360,000 yuan, the equivalent to $50,255. And he promised a faster pace of launches ahead. To look for growth, the automaker chief is turning to Europe, the world's second biggest EV maker after China, by vehicles delivered. and a place moving to phase out non-electric cars by 2035. For full coverage, check out Yo Wang's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.